Yo, what's good everybody? It's Green Onion. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be doing some customs, or not customs, just one custom. I'm going to be making a Mad Max vehicle out of this Matchbox Sand Racer. So that's the car we're going to be using. I think it looks like a cool little Mad Max, like Buggy or whatever, and with a little modification I think it could make a really cool looking Mad Max vehicle. So Matchbox Sand Racer, I think this is called. So first step is always to crack this open and drill out the car. Come on. Yeah, there we go. So here's the car out of the package. Pretty nice. So let's drill it out and see what we got. Alright, so we got the car drilled out, as you can see there. So let's see what parts you got to work with. Got the base here, which is metal. Sand Racer and the wheels. I think I'm going to actually keep these wheels for the car, as I tried test fitting some of the other wheels like Matchbox Off-Road and they didn't actually fit because the rear wheels are, you know, like they're just too close to this little catch guard thing. So, and the other two parts of the car are plastic, and they consist of the roll cage right here and this interior. It's got like a little shovel and a axe on there. The engine is in the back of this. So we got three parts of this car. I think the next step, what I'm going to do is get rid of these wheels so I can modify the base. Alright, the next step we're going to do is remove the wheels. I'm going to use the Dremel cutting tool, and just, since this is a metal base, we're going to have to use the cutting tool. And we'll just trim away at these little tabs that are holding the wheels in place, and the wheels should come off. Alright, now we get the wheels removed. As you can see, there are the wheels there, and the tabs have been grinded away, and it got a little bit of damage on this back part, but that's fine since we're going to switch out our Dremel tool to this spear cutting bit and kind of gouge out the sides of this. I'm not going to bother taking the paint off of this since I'm just, you know, going to gouge off all the paint anyway, but I'm going to weather this Sand Racer thing. This is all going to be gone. I'm going to like put gouges in it to make it look like it was in battle or something like that, and it got damaged. So I'm going to do that to the sides here and this rear panel, since the rest of the car really isn't shown on, you know, like when you're looking at it. So get back to you when I do that. Alright, after about 15 minutes of doing a bunch of sanding, grinding, polishing, you can see my thumb is covered in Zamac material, but you can use the Dremel sphere cutter tool to really, it's this tool right here, and I'm using the Dremel Micro. So yeah, if you use that thing, you can really like hammer out little circles and stuff on the car, like little gouges like this little thing down here, to really make like really realistic looking battle damage on your cars. So that looks pretty cool, I think. It took me about 15 minutes to get the look I was going for, which is like it's being shot at and then somebody hammered it back into place. I took like a little gouge out of this, you know, like heavier shots or something like that. So there's the bottom and then the sides, and you can see the reason why I didn't repaint this is because yeah, you can see that I grinded off all of the Sand Racer text and all that off the side of this car, so it's basically all gone. What the heck is going on in my house here? I just heard a bunch of banging, but yeah, the next step to do is to paint the body. And to do that, I'm going to be using, I'm going to try out this Rust-Oleum hammered. It's like dark brown. It looks like a rust undercoat sort of. So I'm going to try this and see if it actually looks hammered and attributes to the look I'm going for, which is like gouged out and stuff like that. So then, actually kind of curious. I want to see if I put this car back together. Which way does it go back? Is that way? Okay. Okay. Something like that. I forgot how this goes back together, but yeah, you can see like it's a little battle damage. I'm gonna have to test fit this a little bit, but you can see that's not how it's supposed to go. But yeah, I'm gonna modify the other parts too. Let's get this painted. Alright, got the body done with the first coat of the hammered Rust-Oleum paint. As you can see, it's a little more like tan than I wanted. Whoops. It's a little more tan. I mean, it looks brown enough, but like it's just a bit too like light for me. I thought the paint was gonna be a little darker, but you can see the divots and all that, they've showed up on the paint. So it looks rather nice. So I'm just going to keep it for now. I'm going to modify it later with actual paints. But you'll notice I have this car right here, this Enforcer or whatever. This is going to be dismantled for these weapons on the side. These are actually to scale, I guess, because this is the Hot Wheels, and as you can tell, this one has seen better days. This is one of the ones I was playing with when I was a kid, and yeah, the wheels got kind of wrecked. So he is going to give his guns up for my buggy. But for now, let's work on this roll cage here. I think what the roll cages I'm going to do, I'm not really going to gouge it out per se. I'm just going to like sand it up, and then I'm going to spray it matte black, I think. Or something like that, like matte black, and then, yeah. So I'm just going to change that. And then for this metal part right here, this is like the main like centerpiece of this buggy. So I think I'm just going to give it some battle texture. You can see right there, that's like the front guard here. And it has a bull bar. I plan to add like spikes or something to that. And the engine, I think I'm just going to keep in this car. It looks okay. So yeah, I'm going to go modify this a little bit and drill this car apart to get the guns. And I'll meet back with you later. Okay, we got the guns pried off of the Enforcer here. Put the rest of them in my spare parts bin, but we got the guns out of here. It looks like this was part of like the interior plastic, but all we really need is the guns, so I'm just going to trim those off with a wire cutter. So yeah, let's just do that real quick. And then the next step I'm going to do is continue my work on the roll cage. Alright, there are the guns chopped off of the thing, and this is going to be a very light buggy, so I'm not going to use too much weaponry on this thing. I'm going to use those guns and then a turret from the Stingrod 2 casting, which I'll introduce into later in this video. But for now, let's weather up this roll cage. Alright, didn't need to do much on this roll cage, so we're going to go ahead and hit it with some black paint. All I did was basically just go over it with some sandpaper and rough it up a bit, but now it's time to hit this with the black paint and move back to the base, get that with the rust coloring, and we can clear coat that. And then for the interior, I'm going to hand paint this later when the car is more complete, so wait till that stuff, I guess. And let's move on to this. Alright, now it's time for the fun part, which is making rust effects on this base. So basically what I'm going to do is just use some brown paint here and some golden brown paint here, and make it look like it's been rusted out. So let's do that. Boo! Alright, here is what the body will look like after the rust has been applied. I always love putting rust on cars. Come on, camera. Do your job. But yeah, here it looks. And really it does look like a big beat up piece of metal that's on the side of that. That's the look I was going for. There's the rear. And there's the other side. So before we continue, I'm going to hit this with the clear coat. And I know I just said I was going to paint that, but I got to put the turret on the top first. And at this point in time, I actually don't have the casting. I didn't purchase it yet in the store, so I'm going to run out to Walmart tomorrow and make sure to purchase one of those sting rods. So until then, I guess I'm just going to finish up with the base, clear coat this, and move on. I started detailing some of the buggy's interior. So until then, catch you later. Alright, for some reason my camera decided it didn't want to work, and it didn't record my clear coating of this piece, but this is clear coated now in matte clear coat. So that's basically sealed in until my next step on that. So, and also what I did is I shaved off, there's like a rope or something cast in the plastic, got rid of that because I'm going to add my turret on the top. Then also I just gouged out, damaged the front end of this little thing and added some details to the engine and such as well. So anyway, long story short, the next step we got to do is start dismantling the next car here. We got Stingrod 2. We're going to take him apart because I want that missile turret on my car, so we're just going to cut that off with the car and stick it on the top of here. And actually it has a couple extra missiles on the base, so I don't know if I'll do anything with those, but yeah, let's get this guy out of here. Stingrod 2. Kind of a poop casting, I guess. It's not terrible, but I don't know. I think this whole Dino Rider series is kind of terrible, but whatever. Here's Stingrod 2 before we drill him apart and take his turret. So let's get to that. And sorry I can't really videotape taking stuff apart or me doing things, because I like to do it meticulously, and I can't really hold the camera while I'm doing that. And I don't really have a stand for it, so I might have to get that later, but for now, yeah, let's just take off the turret, and we're just going to glue it on the top of this thing here. And then we're going to hit this with... Where's my paint? What'd I do with it? What'd I do? What do you mean? I don't know. I don't know where it is. But I have some flat matte brown paint that I'm going to hit that with. That's just a rust undercoat, and then we'll go from there. Okay, now that the turret has been removed from the body of the sting rod right here, all you can see is I just cut it away with the Dremel tool. Cut it right off, and then did some sanding and reshaping to get the turret. I had to gouge out a lot of this crap that was in there because there was a post that ran right through the missile turret, and there's some other stuff in the bottom, so I had to really sand that down good, but I got it out, did some weathering on this back panel because I plan to use that, and so this guy can go to my spare parts junkyard. And if you actually look at it, this missile turret actually pretty much fits pretty much perfectly on here. Like it's like almost perfect on there. You will notice that there's a little bit of a gap in between, you know, if you look in there, but I plan to cover that up using some screen door mesh later when I'm like finishing up the model and putting on final touches. So for now I'm going to glue this up and put the base coat of rust matte brown on it. So let's do that. Yo, what's good everybody? My name is The Green Onion. Welcome back to some more die-cast crap. Today we got a custom I made. Mad Max Buggy. Look at this beast. I love this thing. Unfortunately, I was going to do a step-by-step tutorial of how I made this. But of course my camera had to say, you know, F you and delete all my videos I have of it. I got the first few of where I working on the base, and I think a little bit on the roll cage. I think that was basically it though. And the rest of the custom I videotaped making, but it just didn't like save for some reason. I don't know. But anyway, here is the finished product of my custom. It's a Mad Max like Buggy. The original casting was called the MBX Sand Racer from Matchbox. Just a nice overall looking like buggy. I don't know, I tricked it out in some serious cool looking Mad Max style here. Also parts that you're going to need for this car right here. The guns are from a casting called Enforcer. I found one in my junk cars bin and I just took it apart for the guns. These missiles here are from Stingrod 2. So the missiles are from Stingrod 2, just took them off the top. You can get this casting in the 2018 mainline. Shouldn't be too hard to find because it's a peg warmer. We got that, and then I forgot what else here. One other car was scrapped to make this. That's for the exhaust. That was this car from the Star Wars series. This car, Mad Manga. Took apart that. It was the Star Wars Boba Fett car. And yeah, you can probably find that one a lot too. It's pretty common. That Star Wars set was a flop, but those are the cars you'll need to make this. But here we have it. I'm going to give you a step-by-step rundown, I guess, of what I did. Basically, let's start with the base. So it is glued together because I ran out of screws. I legit ran out of, like, the button has screws. So I glued it together for now, but still holds pretty well. I'm not selling this or giving this away. This is mine for my collection. But anyway, we got the base. All I did was, here you can see I got the rusty colored base here with the divots in it. The divots are made by a Dremel with a sphere cutter on it just to make a little hammered look. I added this little gouge on the bottom. Come on, camera. See if you see it on the bottom there. And then I did dirt effects with a spray can of flat paint, some Rust-Oleum flat paint. I'll go get it actually. Somewhere over here. Here it is. Camouflage, Rust-Oleum, non-reflective finish, ultra flat. That's what I use for my dirt. Yeah, look at it. You can see my shop here. Got some gloves and I don't know, random stuff, random cars. Yeah, some stuff I don't even know is down here. But anyway, so yeah, I did that with the Dremel. Yeah, and then the wheels were painted over with the same thing. The wheels, by the way, are not the original wheels from this car. They are from the Stingrod 2. Just took the wheels off the Stingrod 2, put them on the Sand Racer. You're going to need to make your own axles for that, by the way, because the wheels it came with were these ones right here. After looking at the car a lot, I decided these were kind of puny, So I switched them out with some larger wheels from Hot Wheels here on the Sting Rod. So yeah, but these have larger axles than the Sting Rod, so I had to make axles out of paper clips and put them on there. Unfortunately, my car, it doesn't roll. But that's not a big concern for me because I'm just going to display this anyway. I'm not going to go down the track or anything. But yeah, it does have axles. I think a couple of the wheels roll. I just think one of them got glued together by accident. But there it is, that side. And then the other side did the same thing with the Dremel. You can see, and then I went over this. What I do, I don't have weathering powder. I think my rust, actually, I'm a pretty good rust applier. I don't know. I'm pretty good at applying rust. I love applying rust effects or weathering effects. And I just do it using cheap paint that you get at Walmart or Target. All I do is just do a base coat in brown. Where's my base coat? Where's my base coat color? God, I thought I had it over here. There it is. No, that's flat black. Here it is. Okay. Here, I use this Rust-Oleum. I use cheap spray cans because I don't have an airbrush. I don't have any of that. Satin Espresso. That's what my base rust coat is. So I just spray paint all the parts that I want to do rust in that first. So it'll be the roll cage and the base. So I sprayed those first in this color. Just get a base rust coat. Ow. And then I went over them with this stuff I found in my closet and golden brown acrylic paint. And then hit it with a matte clear coat to eliminate the shine, because for some reason it says satin, it looks satin, but it's still some sort of shine on there. So I made sure to eliminate that on the roll cage with a matte clear coat, just a basic matte clear coat. I think mine is called Krylon, I think. Not sure. Alright, and then the interior. We got the interior, if you know this casting. This is actually smooth one it starts out with. Did the same sort of thing with the Dremel, gouged it out, decided to make it flat black to break up the color scheme on this car instead of just making it all rust. And yeah, so then we have the front lights here. Ugh, that one on the right doesn't look too good. Might have to re-modify that, but from a distance it looks great. And then I just put a little X with a Sharpie over it because why not, I guess. And then same up there, underneath there's more lights. Over here, gouged it out with some flat black, and then I used this steel from Model Master. And I just kind of lightly brushed over it to give it kind of like a, you know, like the bullets and the shells hitting the car, and they just divot off and create a shiny divot, I guess. I don't know. Then we got the shovel and the axe. I just detailed those in some paint. And here we got this mesh on the window. That was created using just a basic, like, we have a bunch of scrap screen door in our basement for some reason. It's like this crap. I don't know. But I can chop that up. I've been using that for a while on other projects too. But it works great for a mesh grill or mesh covering right there. The turret here had a little overlap, so I covered. You can see through it right there. I covered it up a little with some mesh, so you can't like totally tell. And it adds more character to the car by having more stuff on it. So these guns here from an Enforcer, sprayed them in matte black because they were originally like brown or something. Don't remember, but. What was I going to say? Then I just brushed them over again with this steel. I've made sure to, you know, dab a lot of it off and just do a light coat, so you can still see some of the black, but then you got that silver on there too to make it look worn. That's basically what I did here. And then the mud effects, I hit the front with it too, you know, just where the mud's going to be in the front wheel wells splattering up in there, and then the rear wheel wells splattering up in there. And then the roll cage was just, you know, I said with the base coat of rust, and then I took a sponge here. I use a sponge for applying rust, so took the golden brown and kind of sponged it around the areas where I wanted rust. And then also on the interior, you can see the seats. I don't know if you can see them well, but then the engine right there, I did a little detailing on that with the red engine blocks and stuff, engine cylinder heads. And then I gave it an oil wash. So basically what I do for my oil wash is I don't have like a fancy dance like that one guy who makes customs. His name's like Bare Metal Hot Wheels or something. He has like all these tools. I'm like, I can't afford that, so I just make do with the cheap stuff. And look, you can make this using just cheap stuff you find at Walmart, Target, whatever. You can make this if you know what you're doing. But yeah, so basically all you do for that is I took a Hot Wheels 3-pack thingy, just some acrylic paint. Make sure it's acrylic. Oil won't work in water, obviously, so this is like acrylic black. dump some in there, dump some water, mix it around, and you're good. That's literally how you make an oil wash. Just make sure you have, yeah, and then it leaves like, because what was I gonna say? The interior was originally a light gray, but you can see there's some gray, there's some darker gray, blackish areas. That's from that oil wash to make it look worn. Moving on to the back of the sting rod turret right here is also gouged out like the sides and the body. You can see those divots. It's also just like this. And then the sting rod missile turret on the side here, I did the same thing as I did with the guns, with the steel weathering process. Same with this side. And then the guns, detailed in white with the black inserts and red tips for the missiles and stuff. And I just kind of weathered these a little bit. I gave them a little bit of an oil wash. I don't know why. I just decided to. I think it looks okay, actually. I was going to leave them plain silver, but I gave it a little... I mean, plain silver? Come on, what am I thinking? Plain red, but I decided to hit them with a wash a bit before. So, yeah, that's that. And then here is the back end of the buggy. There we got the 2 exhaust ports for the Manga. I just glued them in there using some model glue and put some dirt flying up on there, and then I made sure to blacken the tips of the exhaust with just a Sharpie or some black paint to make them look like, you know, they've been used. And yeah, that's basically it. Here is my Matchbox Sand Racer Mad Max custom. I think it turned out pretty good. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention I did the shocks in the front in red too. I think it turned out pretty good. Here's just a little slideshow of it, I guess. There we go. There's the back. Yeah, this is probably my best Mad Max vehicle I've made. I mean, of 2. But I used some techniques that I knew now, and I really enjoyed taking apart some of the cars to make guns and stuff like that. And I just had so many ideas in mind beforehand, you know? Like, I was like, you know what? I saw that Boba Fett Star Wars car in that dump, and I'm going to use the exhaust for that. You just got to look at parts from other Hot Wheels. And then once you scrap Hot Wheels, you can get a whole arsenal of parts and just go into here again instead of having to buy a new car. So you just got a bunch of parts and bases and what have you. So yeah, here's my car. Hope you like it and enjoy some photos of it in a natural setting coming up after this. But until next time, see you guys later.